How's it going, everybody? Here back to talk about Moon inside of Leo. You want to be recognized and you want attention from everybody. Everyone has to take notice of you. You're big on devotion and loyalty. Your emotional response, however, can be one that is self-centered when those attributes of yours are not reciprocated. You can also use dogmatic speech in like a very forceful way almost to reinstate your power just in case things are not going your way. I'm huge on family and home structure and children. Like the extravagant things in life. So whatever industry that a Moon and Leo person is in, they are going to utilize those resources that they obtain to get the flashy stuff to reflect the lifestyle, or at least reflect the money, the type of money that they make. Huge romantics too. They like to have fun and be romantic with their significant others, and they can even grandstand to a point where it's like a stage performance when they are actually making love conquests. Moon and Leo people are also generous people. What happens here is they take that leadership role and they embody it fully because they get the chance to be center stage and show that huge ego that they possess, right? When they don't get the mass attention that they initially set out for, there can be a disruption in that type of leadership because someone or some group of people may pick up on how much they are self-involved. So while they are leading, they may get questioned exactly how they're going about doing their leadership, and the response from the Moon and Leo person can be type abrupt. That pride will boost up inside of Moon and Leo people, and they will express that. Now, Moon and Leo people inside of the second house, they do pretty well here. Deals with financial resources, right? Your personal finances. So the energy of being a fixed sign that Leo possesses makes them actually pump the brakes and say, okay, let me look at my financial situation because I know I like to spend, I know I like the flashy stuff. So what can I do to make sure that I can still live this type of lifestyle while still being able to maintain and not worry? They get thrifty here. So they use that Taurian energy of looking for the best deals for things and, maybe even taking some shortcuts when it comes to expenditures because they're basing their plan around their finances. When the Moon gets inside of the third house, as much as they like to be out there in the open and expressive and everything, they are more chill when it comes to the third house. They're communicating with their relatives and their siblings and things of that nature, which is mostly deals with the third house anyway. However, because it deals with communication in general, this can spread out, especially for more of the expressive types. They're gearing up. So part of that financial planning that they were doing in the second house trickles down into the third house because they want to check with home and everything to make sure that when they do go out and do what they do, that home is taken care of to some aspect and that they are also able to make expenditures that are relative to home life as well. You can also see them participating in community events or doing some type of charity work, even if it's working with children or something like that. Now, Moon and Leo people inside of the fourth house, okay, deals with home. We know this, deals with family matters. So, okay, you would think that Moon and Leo people will be right at home with this. And for the most part, it is true. They are. They feel secure. They feel strong. However, they can feel so strongly about things that they become turbulent with other family members. Moon and Leo people do not always get along with everyone inside of their family. There's going to be some type of drama, and a lot of this stems from having that king of the jungle mentality, especially if they are providing for the home place, which in most cases that is what the scenario is. It's the same type of Leo sun energy that is there on a habitual basis. So they will use that power they'll wield it on their family members as well to let them know, stay in place because I run this place, so they'll do stuff like that. When Moon and Leo people get inside of the fifth house, this is when they can go off. This is the natural house of Leo, and fifth house rules the children, rules the gambling, rules the speculative activities that they may hedge on, rules fun and leisure. So they've been planning they've been planning for the Moon to get in the fifth house throughout the whole entire month, okay? So when it gets here, they're ready to go out. Now, depending on how things resolved inside of the fourth house prior to the Moon getting inside of the fifth house may amplify what they do when the moon is inside of the fifth house. So just imagine if they want to blow a little steam off, they may blow more steam off, okay? And what happens here is not only can they risk everything that they've like worked to achieve or worked to hold on to mentally inside of the second house, they can go overboard and like totally just spend everything. That's how extreme this can be. And another thing about this is because they are so confident in their ego and they're so prideful, they have this confidence about themselves that they will get it back. Now, when the moon gets inside of the sixth house for people with moon inside of Leo in their natal charts, this is a sobering moment for the moon and Leo people because they are obligated to work with other people here, okay? So the work environment becomes a place that is not always about them. So, don't get me wrong, they may still start off in these environments self-absorbed and, leading the way. And a lot of people will let moon and Leo people just lead the way because they're so out there, they shine bright. Whatever they're doing, you're either going to hear them or you're going to see them, and they're going to make sure of that. However, the time can expire on that, especially when they're coming off of whatever type of binge that occurred when the moon was inside of the fifth house. This is usually when they are like, okay, I got to get it back. Now, when the moon is in the seventh house for moon and Leo people, right, this becomes a time of when they really can become leaders because they understand the importance of making the correct networks, okay? So, like I said before, they like to be known and recognized by everyone. Here is where they'll find out that they do actually have enemies. They do have people that are competing with them, and they do have people that will take them out if they can. So moon and Leo people observe this and they're like, okay, let me start making better connections so I can keep moving forward and keep advancing in whatever it is that I want to do. This is when they understand that they have to share the spotlight in some type of way in order to be noticed as a group or a faction. Networks and groups and clusters are what make dreams and things come into fruition. Moon and Leo people, when the moon gets inside of the eighth house, they can be a bit haughty here. And the reason is because they're strengthened back from the seventh house. So now, they went on their binge. They're still looking extravagant. They still have the nice things that they bought whenever they bought it, right? So now they've strengthened their relationships when it comes to business and for personal relationships as well. And they might have advanced, got a different girlfriend or whatever the case may be. I'm just using that as an example, right? So now they're feeling great about themselves and more confident, right? They say, okay, I can fall, I can get back up again. So they start measuring other people now. So they start measuring other people's money. They start measuring other people's decisions. They want to get analytical, but it's based really on what people have and what, people are around them and based upon the circumstances that people are in, that they have dealt with before and that they are dealing with now. So they make those comparisons when the moon is inside of the eighth house. And, they want to see how they measure up now to other people. And it's not that they necessarily want to compete, but they will say things that are like outlandish and type showy, like their personalities are. Moon and Leo people, when the moon gets inside of the ninth house, this is like a two-way street for them. I'm going to begin with the traveling part. They're going to adore the traveling part because they believe that is a part of prestige. They believe that is a part of the extravagant lifestyle that they're supposed to be living, and they must participate in that in order to live up to the name. All right, so this is real big ego type prideful things that happen here. They will, they'll take lots of pictures when they're out on their trips, and they'll detail it as much as they possibly can. They'll talk about it with their friends and they'll have fun. Hopefully they're going with friends when they go out. But then the other side of this is that, they can start doing some like theoretical thinking or some critical thinking. And it's because of the energy that exists here. It's not that they necessarily want to do so, because Moon and Leo people have this attitude that is like opinionated. So it doesn't really matter what you have proven in the scientific world to them. It's just like, okay, whatever, I'm the best, and that's that. Like, look at me, I'm the best, right? And this is where they can run into turmoil because, there are other people in it that possess this ninth house energy that are really good at being philosophical, right? So then the Moon and Leo person may get so opinionated that they start making these remarks that sound harsh and a little bit as if they are wounded because what they believe is like jeopardized in some type of way because somebody else has like read a book and started making some quotes from the book or something to that nature. I'm just using some slight examples of why they can be irritated when the moon is inside of the ninth house. This also, ninth house energy also deals with separation, and if it's not from a spousal partner, it's separation of some type of thing. And the moon and Leo people have this fixed mentality about them, so change is not really up their alley. Changing what they're doing is not really what they want to do, unless it like advances them. But if it's like an unexpected change that's occurring, and they have to separate from something that they either love or something that they've become accustomed to, this irritates them as well. Now, moon and Leo people, when the moon get inside of the 10th house, this is good for them because they've been striving all of their lives to be recognized from day one, right? So here is where they actually have solidified a spot in whatever they pursued. So when they do get that solid footing, they will express that. They will let you know exactly who they are and what they mean to whatever company or industry that they are attached to. And they will, basically talk about their accolades. They will talk about the things that they've done and accomplished and achieved, and how they can actually show others to do what they do. So it's kind of like a showy attitude, but still it's more mature here. It's more about, listen, I've experienced some things probably more than you did. Let me show you the way, learn from what I've done. They may actually become like teachers. What also can happen here when the moon is in the 10th house is that, moon and Leo people don't like to show that they're stressed at all. However, they will be under stress, and sometimes massive stress. And they do a good job at hiding this for the most part until they may have to lash out. It's not the greatest place for them. It really isn't. And this is where, their individuality and a strong sense of likes and dislikes sets them apart from the people that they can really be acquainted with. So they can be creative and everything and create projects, create businesses, and the relationships may fail because of this self-centered, egocentric attitude. All right. So when the moon gets inside of the 11th house, this gets exposed here. Okay, and then you will see a moon and Leo person will really have a good position inside of a job to where they can maintain their individuality, that strong sense of self. And it really doesn't matter whether they link up with other people in order to make their true dreams come true. So what I'm saying really here is, let's say you had a moon and Leo person has like a childhood dream of theirs that they wanted to accomplish. They may not ever accomplish it. And they may just settle for that promotion or that job that they land that they are stable inside of, because that fixed energy gets there and they're like, okay, well, you know what? I didn't do that because of whatever the circumstances were. And, they'll just be like, but you know what? It's okay because I got money. And they'll be like, oh, forget school. Like, I made 80 grand a year. Like, what are you talking about? Now, moon and Leo people, when the moon gets inside of the 12th house, this is where they pick up on the energy that exists in the 9th house, but they could not really bring that out. It didn't work for them. It happens here for them in the 12th house because they get to reflect on self, right? Anything dealing with the self, they are totally with that. So in the 12th house, you get the time to self-reflect, and you get to determine whether you're going to self-undo or you're going to self-improve, right? So this intuition energy that is there, this type of insightful energy will let the moon and Leo person know, am I doing well? Can I do better? Will I do better? Am I okay with what I've accomplished so far? How far I've come despite the turbulence, So this is where they can do a lot of inner workings with themselves and come to terms with everything that they do and say, you know what, I'm a solid person no matter what. I'm genuine, I give, I'm generous, and if things didn't work out because of whatever people may think that's the reason why, I'm okay with it now because of this energy here that I got to actually internalize it and reflect on it by myself.